Alright, so today we're taking another look at the DigiTech RP200, and we're using the Line 6 HX Stomp to kind of be the core of how we're trying this out. So my signal chain is I'm using my LTD guitar, running it straight into the input of the HX Stomp, and then the RP200 is sitting in a stereo effects loop. So this single cable is going to the input of here, and then I've got a Y cable kind of split deal that is returning to both of the returns there, and that just sits on one block that I have right here. So today we're going to be looking at delays. We did effects the other day, and that took quite a while to get through all of those. There's not quite as many delay options, and they're laid out a little bit differently, so this shouldn't take as long. One thing I wanted to, I was going to adjust before I started the video, but then I thought I might share it with you guys too, something to consider. When I did the last video on this, I was using a Telecaster and made some adjustments to the threshold and everything, and my LTD guitar has active pickups, so quite a bit different in the output on those. So one thing I'm going to do is, I'll use my other hand so I'm not covering the screen, is I'm going to go back to the input block that we have on here. I've got the gate threshold, and I'm just going to make an adjustment to the threshold. Oops. I hate when I do that. Let's see. Let's put that back around there. Alright, so I have to dial back there because I accidentally touched that button. Let's see, where is it that the gate actually kicks off? Oh, part of it might be nice if I switch amps. There we go. Alright, so you can see that's where we're getting some noise. We start canceling it out right about there. So let's see how long that takes to die out. It's important to set this stuff, especially when we're messing with delays specifically. It's got good decay. It's not dying off unnaturally yet or anything. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just roll with that. So we only have a few different delay options within the RP200. Let's see what they are. So we have mono, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you have, excuse me, you have analog right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then Pong up to 9 on that as well. So only 3 roll options, and the difference is, I guess, how aggressive they are. So like mono 1, let's switch to that. So I'm going to use that right now to tap on my, and when I go to switch, it's going to go back and forth between these. So mono 1, 300 milliseconds, feedback is set to 43, it said, but about 46. Alright, so you can hear. If I turn the feedback all the way up, it gets to this R hold, and that would sound like... It's not really catching anything. Okay, I must be doing that wrong. And with the feedback pretty high up on it, though. That's one thing that I can do that's kind of interesting. You can take a note and kind of get one of these just repeated cycles going on. So to get to go away, you drop the feedback all the way down. Go back up here. You can have up to 20 seconds of delay. So that would be like, you know, wait, we don't have to do that. Let's turn it down. That note never did come back. 880 milliseconds. Okay. You see if I turn the knob down, it's going to get a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, so that's how that could work. Switched up into that. It doesn't really change that much if you go down, but if you go up beyond that, it's going to start catching stuff. So and not really a good way to change the pitch from here once you get that going. Let's set it back to something a little bit more normal again. So that would be mono 1, mono 2. So mono 2, let's see, we were at 450 milliseconds when we go up to mono 3. Does it stay the same? Yeah. Let's just keep going, mono 4. So it feels like there's a little bit more to it. 5. Go to 6. That was kind of cool. 7. 8. 9. That's cool. Let's go a little bit lower. 300 milliseconds. The original note was still kind of hanging out there. Cool. Let's do this. So we're going to flip over here to the delays, and let's see, we have a vintage digital. They have mono. I don't know if within our delay options if we have a good mono, but we'll take a look. So we were in the stereo delays, which are the newer ones. And again, I'm just looking for mono. I might wind up just settling for the simple delay, which is still a good one. Lots of options. And then we even have some of these legacy ones, which are ones I think would be found on like the DL4 and stuff. So we have ping pong, we'll need that one. Stereo, not mono, stereo. Analog. Let's do this. Let's try the digital and just see how that one sounds. So right now it's set 751, and you can see I can set the milliseconds to a much more fine degree than I can with this. It's like 10 milliseconds at a time that you're changing it. So if you spin it fast, it'll go faster. Where were we at? 300. Set it back to 300 milliseconds. So one thing that's nice if you were using like Helix native or I think it's called HX control or something like that, where you can do all this with a button click instead of just sitting here dialing the knobs. Let's hear it. So of course we don't have 9 different settings the same way we did on the RP. Feedback is at 30%. Let's put it up to 70%. So we have controls over time, feedback, bass, treble, mix. Let's see if we go all the way up on the mix. Then we cut out the dry one. You can hear through the microphone when I strike the strings. And then the delay coming right after it. So that's because the mix was up all the way. Let's put it at 65. I like that number. So we still have the dry signal. And what else do we have? Level and then trails. That would be like if I swap between this sound and the other one. So like if I go... See, when I click over to the other one, it stops right away. But if I turn the trails on... See, it still kind of dies off even after you do the switch. I usually prefer to have the trails on. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have back in here now. So we're back to the RP200. Let's hear what the analog sounds like. Okay, analog 2. Oh, I can see what they mean about it being like a very similar effect, but just kind of a different variation on it, a little different character. Subtle things. Easier to hear if I'm doing like a quick note. Stuff like that. Sounds good if you hold it out long. But you also kind of miss out on some of what's actually happening if you do it that way. All right, let's keep going. Analog 4. Analog 5. Interesting. Analog 6. Alright, analog 7. Cool stuff. Let's see. Analog 8. It's not... I've never tried the, was it the Strymon that makes the Big Sky or anything? I haven't tried that stuff, so I can't really compare them, but it's alright for what it does there. Let's see, in the maximum analog 9. So that gives us a good idea of the analog sounds that we have available in this. Let's switch back over to the delay, and let's see, where did we have analog? We have analog echo. Let's just go with that. That's going to be just fine. Does feel like it responds a little bit differently. Let's put the time up to 300 to match what we had there. Turn the feedback up a little bit more too. All right. So we have the time, feedback, bass, treble, mix, level, and trails, just like we did on the other one there. Let's turn up the mix a little bit more on it there too. Back over to the RP. This one definitely sounds like it has a beefier signal. And that's with no boosting or anything. If I turn the mix down, it's still very present. You know, as good as this one I thought was sounding in comparison to what we have on this one, I think the HX Stomp is going to be the winner with it there ultimately. Let's see what was in the just regular stereo stuff. If we had any kind of analog. They have vintage. Oh, vintage delay. Yeah. What about that simple delay? Let's try it real quick. 800 milliseconds. Let's pump it down to 300 milliseconds. There we go. Turn the feedback up. And you have the mix. So no scale. Not sure what that one does. I like having the trails on. Let's turn the mix down a little bit more. All right. So that's what we have kind of in comparison with that. I think the other one in the other category, the legacy stuff, probably was closer to what we had in here, which kind of makes sense. Let's go ahead and switch back one last time, and we're going to do the ping pong. So this is part of the whole reason I even insist on doing stereo outputs on this. So we could hopefully hear a difference there. Let's turn up our feedback. Let's make it a little bit more spread out there. Let's see. Can I settle? Yeah, 410, whatever. Turn down the feedback. I don't know how much I can hear. I'm like really going back and forth there. I mean, I hear it, but it's not like hard left and right. Let's keep going to Pong 2. Still not much. Pong 3. Starting to get there. Pong 4. Pong 5. A little bit more motion with that one. Pong 6. If I switch to the clean channel. Pong 7. Turn our feedback down a little bit more. 8. Alright, and finally Pong 9. If we're going through all the trouble of making the single output a mono split thing, I'm not getting a ton of the back and forth you would expect with ping pong. So let's switch back over here, go into the delays, and I think the ping pong is in the legacy. It's the first one right there. So let's see. So we have controls over time, feedback, offset, spread, mix, level, and of course trails. Let's see. So it says that spread is at 100%. Let's drop it down. So if you're listening with headphones, you can hear that's very just straight in front of you. The spread does feel like it's making some difference. It's not still as much as I would expect. With the mix all the way up, we're not going to hear the first note. We're going to hear the repeats coming after it. I guess it is kind of spread there. Let's turn the time up a little bit more. Maybe we can hear it a little bit more like that. What about the offset if we turn that all the way up? What if I turn all the way down? Okay, you hear that? It's kind of like da-da, da-da, da-da. That's probably what they mean by the offset. Let's go back here, turn the mix down a little bit more. Back here, offset, back up a little higher. feedback. There we go. Interesting. So yeah, neither one of those ping pongs are really as extreme as I thought that they might get, even with things kind of turned up on them there. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. For as few delays as we had, the video has gone longer than I expected here. So I do still want to cover the reverbs, and I will do that separately because there are a ton of different reverbs, deceptive amount, within the RP200 right here. So I'll do what I can as far as comparing what's in here with what's in the HX Stomp. And this is pretty comparable stuff I've already looked at. But let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. I appreciate you watching. I hope you've learned something about the RP200 or the HX Stomp that will help you make an informed decision there. And I will see you in another video soon. Thanks.